noches, good evening, families. I am Mrs. Isabel Gomez, Family Coordinator at Chief Academy. Welcome, and I'm so happy to be in here. Erica.
Hi, everybody. And then I'm Erica, and I'm parent organizer with FIA, and I'm also excited to be on this call tonight. And I'm really positive, and I believe that tonight we are gonna do like really powerful, strong woot woots, and we're gonna participate. So we're gonna start off with a woot woot now. Make sure everybody's ready for tonight. Everybody come off mute on the count of 3 because we're gonna get started. 1, 2,
3.
Woo, woo, woo,
woo. Eso, vamos. Muy bien.
Awesome. All right, and then those agreements. What is the first agreement tonight, Isabel? What are we supposed to do?
You have to turn your cameras on and have your name and your school so we can give you your gift card. We can count your attendance.
Definitely. And then we want to participate. So make sure we're seeing those reactions. You know, if you're still a little shy, that means you got to see the thumbs up, the hearts, and you use the chat box. We really want to hear from you tonight. Right. And then what else?
Now, yes, our third agreement, necesitamos contestar las preguntas. You need to answer the questions on the chat when we ask you. Remember, anything that you put on the chat, we check in that thing to make sure we do better next time.
Yes, and we want to make sure that we are supporting you and we're showing you that love. So that's why those woot woots, they got to be strong, they got to be powerful, you know, because that's how we're showing everyone on this call that they matter. All right.
Great. Oh, Javier is here. Let me let people in. Sorry.
And then if you want, Isabel, the rest of the team will be letting people in, so you can just
focus. Okay, great. Did you guys remember what are the EFC Lead for Leadership values? Does anybody want to come on mute and read the first one? Any volunteer? Adriana, Marlene, Laura, who wants to read the first value? Vamos, chicas.
D. Barnes is ready to go.
Great.
Okay. The first one says agency. We build the agency and leadership.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Of advocates for their children, educational achievement, individually and collectively.
Great, thank you. So everybody has agency today. Haven't you learned after those three sessions? Anybody has any agency, knowledge? Who wants to read the second one? Who's ready? Raise your hand. Adriana.
All right. Well, what's the second one? Science-based?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Science-based. We champion a vision for high-quality schools, including science-based approach to reading for all students.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Adriana, for reading that one. Javier Ochoa, you want to come on mute and read that our third value? What does a partnership look like? Está muy Areli, can you help us to read the third one, please? Partnership.
Yeah, you're doing so good, Isabel. Partnership. We believe equitable access to quality education takes place when there is a strong home-school communication, collaboration, and accountability.
Great. Thank you, Areli. I think you guys, we are building the partnership right now because we are doing homeschool communication, right? Does anybody feel that way? No?
Yep.
Pongan sus reacciones en el chat. Ahora vamos a ver. Danilo, you want to read our fourth value?
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and read it. The fourth one is the right to know. Parents must know the academic standards, the data, and their child's academic progress to be full partners in their child's education.
Great, Danilo. Thank you for reading that one. Ahora, papás, que ya sabemos más cosas, what are we gonna do? Now you know what level your son is reading. You have to go with the teacher and hey, after those institutes, look, my son is reading more words per minute. Great, thank you. I give it to you, Erica.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. So then now I know a couple of our parents already did the check-in question. And if you haven't had a chance to answer it, we want to hear from you. So we're now in session 4 and we want to know what is one thing you're taking away? What is one thing that is you just can't get it out of your mind and that you learned in the past 3 sessions? We want to know what that is. if you want to come off mute and share what that is, or if you want to put it in the chat, we really want you to share and hear how you're feeling tonight. So let's see. I know D Barnes, you've been participating in every session, so I'm just calling you. You're at the top. What's something you've learned in these 3 sessions that you just love it, you like it, you identify?
Well, for me personally, I do like the time assignment. You know, my younger one, she adores it. She's like, okay, can I beat it? And she's actually over her words per minute goal either way, but she's actually getting up there even more. So I told her, she's like, okay, so what do I get out of this? Like, do more. So I was like, well, you get the success of reading for one. And then I was like, 2, you know, you get to do certain things that, you know, you might not do every day. You know, we'll go out and do little library trips and, you know, maybe like go to your cousin's, the little one, and read to them. And she's, you know, she's excited. So I do know that, you know, it takes a village, you know, and we are not alone and we got to help each other out.
Awesome, D. And then I love that you mentioned y'all are going to the library and making it something fun. You're normalizing literacy at home. And then you're also, you know, just instilling that idea that we got to read together and share with the cousins. I love that. Is there anybody else that wants to share before we move on?
We have some comments on the chat, Erika.
Oh, I bet we do. Okay, let's see.
Lenny Flores said that she has learned how to understand the child's report card. That's really important. Time reading, and most important, how to wear my power code. Look, this button is ready to rock. Thank you, Nelly Flores from Cox Academy. Woohoo! Vamos a ver otros. I have how to be ya sé cómo disciplinar a mi hijo. Aprendiendo, dice Adriana Vitela. Muchas gracias. ¿Alguien más quiere compartir con nosotros hablando sin el mensaje ahora? Uno más.
Awesome. All right, we'll give them a chance then moving forward then, because we're gonna let y'all warm up, because like we said, we want to hear you talk tonight. We've been a little shy. We want to see them power codes. If them power codes are on, we want to hear what you got to say. All right.
Hola, buenas noches o buenas tardes. Soy Diana Ovalle. No he puesto mi cámara porque aún sigo en el camino a mi casa, estoy muy cerca, pero quiero compartir con ustedes que siento que la clave de todo este trabajo que estamos haciendo, de estas sesiones, siento que es muy, muy importante la constancia, porque pienso que si un día lo hacemos, otro día no, que se nos olvida el resto de la semana, entonces no vamos a crearle ese hábito a nuestros hijos. Y créanme que eso es lo que me ha estado costando, podría decirte, es lo más duro de este proceso, la constancia, pero estoy ahí, estoy tratando de hacerlo y sigo apoyando a mi hijo y pues es muy importante y son muy buenas todas esas técnicas de lectura que nos han dado para
Muchas
poder seguir
gracias.
apoyando a nuestros
Muchas
hijos.
gracias, Dania, por compartirnos. Podemos hablar un poquito más de eso cuando tengamos nuestros breakout rooms con los papás. Ahora vamos a continuar, ¿ok? What are our goals for leads, Erika? ¿Cuáles son nuestras metas para el libro para literatura? Sorry, se me fue.
Yeah. So, you know, we want that 90% of our students, you know, of all the parents who are enrolled in the Institute, for their kids to be meeting their reading acceleration goals. So like Diana mentioned right now, it's about creating that routine and being consistent. And we want 100% of our parents to practice those activities every week. You know, it kind of feels like Diana just gave a whole little summary of it, you know, of our goals, that she's really trying to live by that.
Yeah. 100% of our parents know their child's reading level now because you guys are here, and the grade level expectation. So after this meeting, you guys need to go back to your teacher and say, look, 4 weeks ago, my student was reading 80 words, and now my student is reading 120. You need to show that progress to your teacher.
Definitely. And then what's the last one? What are they doing then when they're sharing progress with teachers? It's that final step, Isabel.
We need to do a collaboration and communication between educators and parents increase 50%. All of the families that we have in this call, I think most of us, we already increasing that 50% of collaboration and communication with our teacher. Does anybody feel that way? You guys?
All right, I gotta show Isabel some love. Let's see
No,
who's
no
listening to
quiero.
Isabel. Susan is for sure. Let me see. I see
Yeah.
some parents. I saw some thumbs from parents. All right, we're gonna move forward then.
Thank you, Daisy. Thank you, Safisha. Eureka.
All right, so we got our lit for literacy. Remember, there are 6 steps to, for our institute. And so we've already completed 1 through 3. If you made it to tonight, that means you are done with you attending the 4 Zoom sessions. And now we're moving on to step 4, which is we're going to attend that in-person session to practice reading activities and kick off our family-led literacy activities at our schools. So that's the next step coming up out of, after our Zoom sessions. And from there, we're going to be part of our school family and be literacy leaders. And then step 6, you're going to be a lifelong literacy leader for your child. And then you're going to help your school and community. How does that sound? Can I get some thumbs up? Who likes how this sounds so far? I see a yes from a parent. I'm seeing some thumbs up. All right. Perfect. Mhm. All right. And so now we're doing that recap that Isabel was telling you. This is the moment that we're going to see if you guys really did pay attention and you learned. All right. Based off of the chat, it seems like you guys did pay attention for the past 3 sessions. All right. So we have time reading for fluency involves reading with speed, accuracy, and expression. Is this true or false?
True. True.
True? All
You have
right.
to put that on the chat. Let's see who's right. Let's see who's doing the work.
Definitely. And then you know what we can do as well? If we can go ahead and see that poll come up as well so we can save some time. Let's get the poll going at the same time. And then question number 2, a 2nd grader's fluency goal is to read 30 to 40 words per minute.
Ooh, that is a tricky one.
Is it true or false?
False.
False. All right. And then that poll, if we could please get it up so our parents can start answering, because I'm starting to hear the answers and they're correct. Question number 3, in our schools, we need parent teams because something channels power. And then Isabel, don't give the answer because you said it last week. Let's see what channels power. Is it A, water, B, money, C, structures?
Structure.
Sí.
Sí.
Put it on the chat.
Sí.
We're looking
Oops.
that you're really learning.
Sí.
A, B, or C.
And then I'm screen sharing,
Sí.
so I really need help from someone on our team. If you could just go ahead and put that up for us, because I'm screen sharing, can't pull up the poll. But yes, I heard structure. Did somebody say structures or money?
Somebody say structures.
Okay, that is the right answer.
Great.
And then the
Thank
final
you.
one, our story of now shares what we are being called to do right now as a parent and as an EFC community. Is that true or is that false? All right, so let's go take a second and start answering the questions. Let's see, because we've already shared some of them. All right, we already helped you. Now we want to get at least that 90% of the folks on this call to answer. All right, we're at 5 people have filled out that application. Isabel, do you think we can hit that 90%?
I think we can hit the 90%. We are 6%. Oh, no, parents, you're not doing your work. No. How you gonna get your gift card if you're not answering the question? It's part of the commitment to answer questions to see if you're really learning. Let's give the pool a little raise. If you need to read the questions, just read the questions on the pool. Es una pantallita que le sale ahí en la computadora. Uy, vamos al 9%, 9%. Oh, no, muy bajo.
All right, we're at 30% right now of our folks. Come on, folks. It's super easy to answer those questions. Time reading for fluency. Involves reading with
41%.
speed, accuracy, and expression. True or false?
41.
We are at 14 of 31, so we're almost there. Let's see them. Let's see those.
Almost there.
go up.
60. Great. I don't want to call out names, who's done it or not. Vamos, papas.
Let's go, parents. We
Go,
got one more
20.
one more minute on this quiz. I think we can do it. We are at 60%, 61. We only need another 10 parents. Let's make it happen. And so far, what I'm seeing on the quiz, everybody's getting question number 1 right. You know, time reading for fluency involves reading with speed, accuracy, and expression. It's coming up as true. So good job, everybody. 21 of our parents did it. Nice. Let's
Question
keep.
number 2 is a little tricky. Question number 2. Our second graders fluency should be 30 to 40 words per minute. Oh, that is tricky.
All right, we are seeing true has 5 answers and false has 16. All right. And then number 3, in our schools, we need parent teams because blank channels power. All right, what channels power? We're seeing some water. 2 folks said that. And then the structures is at 19. All right, parents, we're at 67%. We needed 5 more parents to fill out the quiz.
We got 5 seconds. 4 to close this poll. That's it.
All right. And then we're going to go ahead then, and we are at 67% if we want to go ahead and end the poll. All right. So for question number 1, the answer is, what is the answer, Isabel?
It is true. Number 8.
All right. And then for 2, what is our second graders fluency goal? Is it 30 to 40 words per minute?
That's what they do now, but it's false.
False. Definitely.
That's kindergarten.
Thank you. And then, so yeah. And then for our
Hold
school,
on.
what is channeling power, Isabel? You led this.
Erica, can we just quickly ask, because that was a false answer, who knows what the right reading fluency range is for second grade? Dee, are you raising your
That is
hand?
tricky.
It's 101.
It's 101 plus words per minute.
Yeah, you see how we have to have that knowledge? Because if you thought 40 was okay, you're going to stop at the wrong goal for your kid. So Dee's got that powerful parent knowledge. Thank you so much. That's why we believe in that value. Parents must know. Because when you know that goal, I know you're going to strive for it with your children. Great job, guys. Sorry to interrupt, Erica.
No, thank you, Kimmy. In our school, we need parent teams because the structure channels the power, because money channels the power, or because water channels the power. What is the right answer? A, B, or C? Anybody know the answer?
And I saw, in the chat box, at least a couple of our folks, Laura, and then English, and Jocelyn, and Mariana, and Mayra Tejada, and Migdalia got it right, that it is C, structures.
We need structures.
And so maybe the people who put water, they were thinking about the metaphor you use, right? Because we're talking about the rain and the different ways that water can, show up in power. All right. And then for number 4, Isabel, you want to go ahead and lead us on that last one?
The last one is a little tricky. Our story of now shares what are being called to do right now as an EFC community. It is true or false? That is a tricky one because I think that is true. Only one parent say false, but I think that is true.
And it is, yes. So it's true. And it's all right. And then thank you. And we're going to learn a little bit more about that towards the end of our session. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pass it over now to our parents, to Fisha. Woo-woo.
Hello, everyone. It is time for us to do our homework celebration. I don't know if you're a Cox Academy parent or not, but you probably had puberty education today for your child. So that was another Zoom call that was taking place. But let's celebrate all the amazing parents who took the time to do their homework with their children this week and really just, get into, the reading and really get into the book walks and the book talks. Those things are majorly important. So our session 3 homework celebration. Let's talk about the share out for Lazier, for Achieve, for Cox, for Learning Without Limits, and Ascend. All right, so this is a homework celebration of Miss Antonia reading with her son from Lazier. So can everybody go ahead and drop some love in the chat? Or how about this? How about we all drop it in the chat? Can we get a woo woo for Antonia, please?
Woo-hoo!
Yes.
On the chat,
Woo,
sorry.
woo. Good job, Antonia. It is so amazing to be able to see our parents really getting it in. Hats off to you. Who do we have next? All right, homework celebration. This is Angelica and her daughter Denise reading a book together. So Miss Angelica, if you're in the room, feel free to raise your hand, as well as our previous parent. Both of these parents are from Lazier. Miss Rosario and her son are also reading a chapter book called Before We Were Free. And what you can see is both of the parents here are sitting very close with their children. They're very engaged. They are 2 eyes to the kid. We don't see any cell phones around, right? So nobody's thumbing Instagram or doing any of the other stuff. They're genuinely paying attention. Great job, you guys. Who do we have next? All right, homework celebration with Miss Pamela Jackson and Jason and Jada taking turns reading. Shout out to Cox Academy and great job to you, Miss Pam. I know you are on a roll, been doing this for a long time, but to all of our parents who are taking the time and our grandparents who are taking the time to step up and step in, I got a huge whoop whoop for you guys. So keep on rocking and rolling because you matter. You genuinely matter. Who do we have next? We need our grandparents. That's right, Susan. That is so true. All right, homework celebration for Miss Ivana from the 5th grade. You guys, notice she's using her finger. Everybody go like this. Hold up a number 1. Now point it right at your camera. Now remember, tell our children that this right here is a superpower. This finger can follow words, letters, paragraphs, and whole pages. So notice what Ivana is doing. Cox students, right? 3rd grader, Taylor. Shout out to you, Taylor. I just saw her this week in the cafeteria. She is all smiles after reading If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Drop it in the chat, you guys. Does she look happy to be reading? Yes or no? Yes. Reading is fundamental, you guys. We got to read more. It opens up the imagination. Who do we have next? Shout out to you guys, Ivana and Taylor, and to your parents as well. All right. So look, we got somebody to go over purpose and outcomes. Who's joining me on this virtual stage? Because the one thing I know is that in order for us to achieve what we just saw, which is parents sitting down with children, taking time outside of those 2 jobs, cooking dinner, doing laundry, and running back and forth errands, we have to truly understand our purpose and we have to know what our learning outcomes are. So who's my co-host? Let's go, Isabel.
Thank you, Estefisha.
Rock and roll.
Thank you. Woohoo, thank you. Our session number 4, purpose and outcomes. Number 1, we celebrating our progress in home reading and literacy activities. Right, Erica?
Yes, definitely. And then we want to learn how to build on content unit themes at home. That sounds like something new. I think we're gonna have to pay attention. Stay tuned to learn what that means.
Yes. Number 3, our story of self as and now into a powerful call to action with other parents. What does this mean? Can you explain a little bit more to the parents that may get a little confused like me?
You know what? I can, but I don't want to spill it yet because we have a really great parent that's going to be sharing this call of action, and I think she did a really great job. So I'm gonna save it for her.
Okay. Number 4, we get ready to put our school parent leadership team in action. I need my chief parents. They are here in this school supporting me in school, and for all of the coordinators as well. In order to effectively work together, and I can see those letters, sorry.
Increase literacy rates for your child and all of our EFC students.
Great, thank you, Erica.
So awesome. And so that's the purpose, and that's what we're hoping to accomplish. And let's move on, to that agenda. So we already did the welcome and we just shared the purpose. And tonight, like we mentioned, we have Learning Without Limits leaders in the room tonight. They're going to lead us on that content unit themes. We're going to figure out what that means. We're going to go into breakout groups again twice. And we're going to find out what is a call of action and then find out what our next steps are. So if you're ready to listen in on our next speaker, I need to see some woods. I need to see that chat box blowing up, especially Learning Without Limits. Y'all need to represent because I keep seeing COGS and Achieve, but I'm not seeing Learning Without Limits yet.
Oh, I see Mariana from Learning Without Limits. I see Susan. Ooh.
There we go. We're seeing it. See, even Lazier supporting y'all and Cox. Awesome. Thank you. And so, Isabel, you want to go ahead and introduce our next speaker?
Sure. Our literacy lesson number 4, content unit, teams and library. We have our amazing Roberto Hernandez, assistant principal from instruction from Learning Without Limits. Roberto, come and mute and introduce yourself again.
Hello. Thank you again. Hello, everyone. Hello, EFC families. Special shout out to LWL families. Miss Marlene, I see you. Buenas tardes. Thank you. Hello. I'm really excited to be here. I want to start off by sharing how humbled I am to be in this space. I have worked really hard, and I want to share this, and I want to share my story of self before I begin, so I don't want to take up too much time. I want to share a little bit about my background and why I feel so honored and humbled to be in this room with you all right now. Both of my parents migrated here from Mexico. So I grew up speaking Spanish, and so English was my second language. And I remember that feeling of that I had when I was in the classroom, not necessarily understanding what was happening or being able to engage with the work. And school was always kind of difficult for me. And I never understood what it was, but I never had that sense of connection. And so I ended up, going to school, and I was lucky enough that I was able to do my homework, and I was reclassified, and I was able to do that work. I learned a lot from my friends, and I learned a lot from my community. And a lot of the things that I learned were from my neighborhood. And I grew up here in Oakland, and I'm so proud to be in this community. I grew up two blocks away from LWL. So that is why I am here tonight, is because it almost feels full circle that I get to be in this space with you all. And so my experience growing up here in Oakland, in East Oakland to be exact, was different. I grew up right next door to public housing. And so my interest was always on the community and what happens when we grow up in different areas and different types of housing, communal housing, public housing, standalone housing, apartment complexes. And so I was always really interested in that. So I joined soccer, and I feel like joining a sport really helped me feel attached to my school. And I was able to go to college, which was really important. And so I push all of our students to go to college. And I know that that is not the only way to be successful, but I do understand that education is very, very important, and that it is a way to move up in the social ladder, as we like to say. When I graduated from college, I majored in community development, which is also known as urban planning. And so I was really, really interested in what happens if we have a porch. What's the difference of growing up with a balcony and a porch as opposed to not having any space in my house? And so all of these things were really interesting to me. And so I started community organizing. I started going door to door here in Oakland and in San Francisco in the Mission District. And I was knocking on doors and I was asking community members, what do you need to see in your space so you feel like you are seen and like you are valued? And it was also during that time where it was a housing crisis. And so a lot of families were being displaced. And so we had a lot of rallies and marches and making sure that families were able to keep their homes first. And then we were able to do other work. I share that because the way that I ended up in a classroom, and so now I'm the assistant principal of the school, but the reason why I ended up in the position that I was in was by some miracle that, and my sister asked me to be a substitute teacher in her class. She taught in the Mission District and I said, sure, I'm gonna sub. I would love to try out and see what that looks like. It was then that I realized that the true power actually comes from our children and from our families in our schools. That is where power happens and that is where the power comes from. And I get emotional just thinking about it because I remember the first time that I asked a parent to come into my space, into my classroom. And that is when I started to shift my ideas. This isn't my classroom. This isn't my school. This is our space. This is our classroom. This is our school. And so I had a parent come in every single week and teach a lesson on whatever it is that they knew how to do. I had a parent come in and teach us how to make pan dulce. I had a parent come in and teach us how they get ready for their job. They were working construction, and these are the tools that we need for safety. I had parents come in every single week, and my students loved it. And what they saw is what we see right here, is that you all are professionals and you all have the power to make a difference. And I don't take this lightly. And so I say this to you all are doing the work, and I am so honored and humbled to be in this space with you all. I just wanted to share that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump into the session. The reason why I'm here is to share with you all a little bit about, first, let me jump into this, the homeschool collaboration follow-up. We know how important it is for you as parents and as community members to be in this space. We understand that, okay? Not only is it essential to making sure that students are advancing and that are at grade level, right? But we see when parents and when students see parents in the building, there's this trust and there's this relationship that gets built. And the students can walk around with their head held high. And I share this, and I know that there are a lot of parents on here. The way Angel and Oliver walk by every single morning and wave at Miss Marlene as she stands by the gate or as she walks down the halls is completely different from anything else that I've experienced. And I know that because Miss Marlene is a present parent that is here as much as she can be here. And so those meetings and that relationship is so big for our students, and it's so important for our teachers as well. So we don't want you to wait till the last minute to make a plan with your teacher. Part of the beautiful work that you all are doing right now is understanding the power that you have. You all have this power, right? We're going to meet with our teacher, and there's nothing wrong. We're professionals. We understand. Some of us are parents. We understand. We know we want what's best for your kids, just how we want what's best for our kids, right? So what is the teacher going to do? What can you practice at home? And what growth should we see? Those are all things that we should be communicating with our parents, right? The other thing is check on your reading, your child's reading data every single month. A lot of this is accessible through the internet. And if it's not, please check in with your teacher, and they'll either make that plan with you or they'll be able to share that data with you. Yeah. Okay. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Thank you so much. Okay. So I wanted to share a little bit about the fish tank curriculum and the content themes that we are presenting to our students. And so this is just a little snapshot of where and what the big overarching themes are for each unit. Okay. And so I don't want to get, and yes, there are specific things that are being taught every single day, but the unit as a whole, everything comes back to that unit and that understanding of that unit. And so what we have here, I'm just going to walk us through. For kindergarten, the first unit for kindergarten is around welcome to school, right? How do we act at school? What are some things that happen at school, right? And so it really is You know, just the basics of schooling. We're here in the morning, we have recess. What is the structure of a school day? As we go on, we know that that's essential for our kindergarten students because this is their first year in school for some of them. And so they're learning the structures and the routines. The second unit is around noticing patterns and stories. We start to pull out what are some of the patterns that we're seeing in stories and the literature that we're reading in the book. Then we start to go into celebrating the fall. This is where a lot of our kindergarten or a lot of our teachers are right now. We're in the celebrating the fall unit 3. Okay. And so I'm going to zoom out in a second. I just want to talk about each unit just really briefly. The celebrating the fall is all around the weather changing, specifically how leaves fall off the trees, how less chlorophyll is present in the leaves, and how that causes the leaves to change color. And I say this, and I want to use that key term, chlorophyll, because I want you all to know that chlorophyll, although it's this really, really, you know, it's a scientific word, we are asking and teaching our kindergarten students about chlorophyll. Okay, if you go into a classroom, you might see an anchor chart that has a leaf that says a leaf is getting less chlorophyll, right? And so I'm saying this because I want you all to understand also the rigor of what we're putting in front of our students. This is challenging. The reason why I'm here is so you all can see the overarching themes and notice that even though it is difficult, we can talk to our children about the themes and we can still be challenging them in this way. Okay?
Roberto,
yes.
Can I just interject a quick question? First of all, is Roberto not?
Yes.
Who is this man? I love him. Anybody already know what Roberto's sharing themes for kindergarten first and
Kimmy, I think your audio is cutting off. Can you hear us?
I'll let you guys continue. I don't want to stop. I was just wondering if this is information for
I'll put a question in the chat, Kimmy.
Yeah, Kimmy, put it in the chat.
Okay, and maybe I should pause. I just want to make sure. Has everyone seen this before? Is this new to everyone?
This is a new curriculum, I believe, for all of the EFC schools. This is a new curriculum, so thank you.
Yes. Has everyone seen this theme breakdown before? No. Okay. No. Okay. Thank you. Oh, so this is really helpful for me. Okay. My apologies.
I'm seeing a lot of no's.
Yeah, I am also seeing a lot of no's. I thought that you all had seen this before. And so let me go back a little bit and share then. So these are the bigger themes, content themes from each unit for this fish tank lesson, for this fish tank curriculum, right? And so just so we know, there are various components of curriculum throughout the day, but fish tank is specifically focused on reading comprehension, and there's also a component of writing. And so the way a fish tank lesson would work is that there's usually a text, a read aloud, that's tied to the lesson that the teacher is putting in front of the students. So the students will likely come to the rug and the teacher will have a book. And that book usually has to do with the theme that the content theme that is written here. So the whole first unit, our kindergarten students were reading read aloud books. The teacher was reading books to them about what school is like. I think one of the first texts was the King of Kindergarten, right? And so it was a story about what it feels like to be a student in kindergarten, right? And so all the books and the texts are aligned to this larger theme. Yeah. So these themes are what carry on the curriculum. So every day, so the units are roughly from about maybe 4 to 8 weeks. So this was in the first 4 weeks of school. Unit 2 was in the next 4 weeks. So from week 4 to about week 8. where we jumped into noticing patterns and stories. And so again, the teachers are presenting texts and read alouds, books, and the students are listening to the read aloud. And the teacher is asking them questions to see if they comprehend. And then they're asked to, okay, now you go back to your seat and you're going to write about what we learned in the book. So that is the overall fish tank lesson. And it's usually about anywhere from 60 to 80 minutes. So it's 10 minutes of the teacher is building background knowledge, and we're teaching them the important vocabulary that they need to know for the lesson. Then we read the book, and while we're reading the book, we're asking the students questions to make sure that they understand the book and they understand what's happening in the book. And then we ask the students to go back to their seats and write about what they just learned. So that's how the fish tank lessons usually work. So every 4 to 8 weeks, we're transitioning from the first unit to the next unit to the next unit. And what I'm here to show you all is, one, to show you all these units, but to also show you that the conversations that we're having with our children can be about these units. They don't have to be very specific about the books that they're reading, but they could be about the larger themes that we see here. And when you're talking to your students and your children, it could be in any language. It doesn't matter what language it's in, as long as we're talking about these themes, right? And so I want to give it the example of celebrating fall. I like this one, and I think it's a little bit more difficult for kindergarten, right? We're talking about the changes that we see from the summer into the fall. And when I think of how I want to engage as a parent, I think of, well, maybe I don't, and I use my personal experience. My parents couldn't help me with my homework. My parents only spoke Spanish, and they didn't know what was happening at school. And so I say this to you all because even though we don't have that access, some of us, and I know a lot of us do, we can still focus on these themes and still get a lot of, and still prepare our students to be ready to engage in these conversations during class, right? So going back to the celebrating fall,
And
one
then
activity that you can do.
Hey, sorry,
Yes, please.
we're going over a little bit on time, and I know you have a couple more slides to present. So maybe if you could take like another minute here. So sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So celebrating fall, I'm just going to use this one as an example. One thing that we could do, one activity that we could do is really start tracking the weather. Something as simple as what's the day like today? Was it sunny? Was it cloudy? Oh, it's cloudy. Was it warm or was it cold? It was cold. Great. Right. And then really creating a journal and having students realize, oh, we're in fall now. What is the fall like? It's cold. It's, it gets darker earlier. The sun is out for less time. And so again, right, these are just some ideas of things that we could do to tie in to these themes. Can we go to the next slide, please? The other thing that we really want to celebrate and we want to make sure that you all know about is access for the public library, right? The public library is amazing. There are not only the books. So if you were to find the themes and just pull different books, it doesn't have to be the exact book that students are getting in the class, but really just any book with that theme would be really helpful. The other thing is, I don't know if you all know this, but some libraries, they have museum passes, and you can say, hey, museum pass, what we could do is, I think they rent them out. And so you would say on Saturday, I want to go to the Museum of Modern Art or wherever they have they're signed up for, and you can rent those passes and you don't have to pay for the museum entrance, for example, right? The other thing is, I know Bank of America, if you have a Bank of America debit card, they also have like I think the first Sunday of every month is a free museum entrance for you and a guest. And so Bank of America also has that promotion. I think other banks do the same thing. The library also has puzzles, they have activities, they have the computer, they have, you know, a free library card. There are so many different resources at the library. Please, if you don't already have a library card, make sure to get a library card, because this is another place where you can grab some resources to have conversations with your students about. Yes. Next slide, please. Okay, this is another piece that I wanted to, this is more of a challenge, and this is a challenge, and I feel like we are ready for this challenge. Just being the little time that I was in this space, and I'm going to continue to collaborate with you all, I wanted to push you all and challenge you a little bit more in terms of how we're asking and what questions we're asking our students when we do ask them questions. This is what's known as Bloom's taxonomy, right? That's super scientific, not necessary. But what you need to know is that there are levels to rigor, to the difficulty, to the questions that we're asking our students. The ones that are at the bottom of the pyramid are what are known as right there questions, or questions that are a little bit easier for our students to answer. So if we're asking them to, oh, can you tell me what you just read? Or can you explain this idea? Those are all great conversations that you could have. Those are amazing. And I don't want to I don't want to dissuade you from having those. I want you to continue to have those. But the more challenging questions are questions that are more about, hey, let's analyze, what does that mean? What are other connections that where have you seen this before? Right? Oh, we're talking about fall, and we know that the seasons change. What other things do you notice are changing that relate to that? The weather, what else? Right? The trees, what else? And so really being analytical and asking deeper questions. What are the connections that we're seeing? The other one is evaluate, right? What do you think about that? Do you agree? Can you defend, like, put yourself in that person's shoes. Can you defend that point of view? Right? Do you support that? Right? And then the biggest piece of learning that is all the way up here, the more difficult, and as we get up higher in the pyramid, there are more difficult conversations, there are more difficult questions to ask, is create. Can you create this, right? And that's where we know that they were able to understand that, is when they can create it on their own. Can you draw me a model of what the sun does in the fall? The sun goes down earlier in the fall and it comes up later in the fall. If they can create something that shows that, then that really shows that they really understood that concept. And I understand if we're down here in these questions, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The more we want to challenge our students, the questions get more difficult. Okay. We're going to go ahead, and can we go on to the next slide, please? Because I want to make sure that we have enough time for everything. So these are some questions that you could ask. Can you tell me the pros and cons of going into the fall, right? Let's continue with that theme. Yeah, it's colder, right? The summer was hot. I liked the summer. It was hot. Now it's cold, right? What are some of the advantages or disadvantages, right? How is this connected to what we learned last year in last grade, right? Or what caused this to happen, right? So these are just some examples of these are called higher order thinking questions that are a little bit more difficult for our students to answer. And that's the rigor. That's the piece where we want to push our students a little bit more. Again, it's okay to be in the, what did you learn? And can you tell me more about this? That's fine. But if we really want to push our students, these are the same questions or similar questions that students are going to see on the SBAC test, on those difficult exams. These are those questions. We're asking them to design an experiment, defend your opinion. How would you solve this problem? Can you rewrite a story that has a better ending? Oh, I like that story, but what do you think would have been better? Let's rewrite our own story. Let's pretend this happened, or what do you think we could do? Right? So it really is putting it on the student and being creative. So let's analyze, let's evaluate, and let's create. That's what we want to do with our students. We want to push their thinking a little bit more, because when they sit down in front of that SBAC, or when they sit down in front of those tests, and we know that those tests are not the end all be all. We know that. But if those are that's the language and those are the connections that they're asking them to make, let's start at home. Let's start asking them right away, right now. Let's start getting them to think in this way so that when they sit down with those exams and those difficult tests, they've seen this before and they know, oh, yeah, I could do this. I can rewrite a story and make it end in a different way. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, can we move on to the next slide? Thanks. Okay, and so this is the last piece that I just wanted to share is every moment that we have with our children, you all know this, apart from the beautiful time that we have with our kids, and I have a second grader and I have a kindergartner, every moment that we have is a learning opportunity. You all and us, we know what it takes to be a good friend. We notice the world around us, and we know that everyone can make a difference. And so these are things that we can always relate it back to, these unit themes, these bigger themes. There was one theme, I believe, in second grade that focuses on immigration and immigration patterns, right? And there are other themes about social justice, and there are other themes in terms of people that make a difference. We all know those people. Some of us are those people. All these people, everyone on this call are those, that is you. You all are making a difference right now. And all you need to do is share your story and be explicit, be intentional. This is how I make a difference. I make a difference by showing up and really taking into account your learning and connecting with other adults. All of us know how to do this, and all of us could talk to our students about this. The other thing is that the resources that are at our fingertips, they're here. The library is down the street. There are museums everywhere. Nature walks, going back to the fall, we can walk around the neighborhood, pick up some leaves. We can draw leaves. We can think about, why is this one so crunchy? Why is this one so still soft? Why is this one green? Why is this one brown, right? All of these things, right? It's literally everywhere. The other thing is, let's challenge our students to answer those rigorous questions, analyze, create, and evaluate. And the last thing is, we're all making connections. There are connections that we have with one another. There are connections that we have with books that we've read, movies that we've read, songs that we've heard, right? All of those things. And the last thing is connections with what we're learning everywhere, at home and here. Okay, I feel like I've been talking so much, and I'd love to hear some voices now. How can I get you all to share out in the chat? I want to hear some feedback. What do we know? Like, what have you all seen from students coming home? Yeah, what are y'all thinking here? What are some ways that you can share about these themes?
Roberto, I just want to say the chat box is blowing up. So if you can see the chat, people have been really engaged with this information as well.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, Roberto. People saying that this is one of the best presentations because this is really new to us. This is really new to EFC. So this is something for our second cohort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say this, I think we're ready to move on. I don't remember who I've shared with. We're in that space now where we've gotten this down, and now it's okay, let's really push ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's really push our students and our children. And you all are ready for it. Just in the time that I was here, again, so humbled and honored. And I am going to continue to be working with FIA. I know I shared with Ms. Kimmy, like this is both of my loves, like intersecting. It's the community organizing and it's education. It's both of the things that are so important for our students. Okay.
I would love to just say one thing. First of all, powerful presentation. My name is Danilo. I'm an organizer with FIA, but I'm also an educator over at Kidbridge in West Oakland. And I love the point that you made that people think that learning just happens in the classrooms, but taking a nature walk, like you said, picking up the leaves, looking at the sun going down early, those are all classrooms as well. And I think it was really, really powerful. And I appreciate you for saying that, my man. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
All right, so because the chat box, everyone was saying how much they enjoy Roberto, and we want to make sure that Roberto comes back. We got to give him a woot woot. and I need everybody to give him a whoop whoop before we go into our breakout groups. So I need everybody. I'm gonna count to 3. And we're gonna do a whoop whoop for Roberto because we want him to come back. 1, 2,
2, 3.
Woo!
Woo!
Oh, let's go. Heck yeah.
Awesome. And so we just woo woo. That's our way of just showing love, Roberto, on this cause. So thank you so much. And we are going to be going into our breakout groups. I already let our Velia know about the breakout folks. If we can just go ahead and open them up, make sure you join. The screen should be in front of you now. Click join. Yeah, make sure everybody's back on interpretation, and then we are going to do a quick share out to hear, what are some of the parent commitments we heard. Vivica, I came in hearing you assign that role. You want to have that person speak up?
Absolutely. Antonia, tell them a little bit about what we talked about and what we said we can do as parents to supplement the learning at home and what we're committing to. You're not on, you're on mute, Antonia.
Some of my parents that I was with said, well, I said walks, and some other parents said being more involved. Like they did mention like going on a hike, because they do have that activity at school, and maybe connecting to that. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Antonia. Now let's give it up for LWL. ¿Quién va a compartir de esa escuela? Learning Without Limits. ¿Qué papá va a compartirnos? ¿En qué se comprometieron para nuestra segunda sesión en febrero? Ay, no los veo.
Alguien que quiera compartir. Nosotros tuvimos el placer de estar con el señor Roberto, así es de que estuvimos, we were diving a little deeper, pero alguien que quiera compartir lo que charlamos, con gusto.
Pues el grupo de Achieve quedó y se comprometió a que en febrero va a estar presente en las siguientes sesiones para poder ayudar a más padres de familia.
Woohoo! Thank you, Diana.
Awesome. Thank you. And we can hear from one more group. And Stefisha, does someone from your group want to do a quick share out? We got time for one more parent.
Yeah, no problem. Miss Mayra Tejada, can you hear me?
Miss Mayra Tejeda.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
If you can't hear me, yeah, no. Okay, if you can hear me, then D, can you pull up our backup share out? I would appreciate you, darling.
Can you hear me, Stefisha?
I can hear you. Okay, let's rock and roll. I knew you had my back.
We were excited because now our kids tend to be shy when we're like asking, or they don't really want to share how their day was, or if it was good, if it was bad. So now there's like going to be more of an open communication with the kids, because we can chat about anything. We can like use like the sheet, like a cheat sheet, and just make conversation about whatever and see if it makes them more comfortable of like answering how was their day, like a simple question as that, or how was the weather.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And you know what? That came up in our group too, those simple questions and just kind of having those lead you on. Thank you, everyone. Those of you that shared, we'll make sure to call on the 2 other groups first for the second breakout. So now I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my partner. Y'all already know who I am, so I'm gonna go ahead and hand over the mic.
All right, thank you, Erica. All right, folks. So Some of you guys know me. A lot of familiar faces here. My name is Danilo Juarez, and I am actually a family organizer with FIA. I am also an educator, going on my 9th year being at school and in the classroom. So this right here is super important work, like we were sharing definitely in my breakout room, and the concept of we're all reading teachers. We're all English teachers, as I say, from math teachers to science teachers to social studies teachers to parents at home. We're all teachers. And this, there we go. Awesome. So if you can go ahead and move forward there, please. Awesome. So here we are going to go ahead and discuss a little bit about continuing to build our power generator. And this is obviously through the PLT at all these schools. We have Cox in the building. We have Achieve, Lazier, Ascend, Learning Without Limits, in Latitude. And collectively, we all make up the conglomerate of EFC. So who remembers in session 3, how do we generate power for this change we want to see? Can I go ahead and get somebody maybe come off of mute, drop it in the chat, but I would love for someone to go ahead and answer the question of how do we generate power for the change that we want to see? Thank you, Erica, for dropping the question in the chat. Yeah, who remembers?
We organize structure, Danilo, because structure channels power. So we have individual structures in those PLTs, which I think you're going to talk to us about, but we got to create a solid structure first.
Heck yeah, I love that. Thank you, Steph. 100%. So that's right. We build teams at these schools. These teams are made up of parents, they're made up of teachers, school leaders, organizers, and collectively we all come together to go ahead and actually generate that power. Now, let me ask you all a question. And if Erica, if you could do the same here and drop the question in chat for me. So how does this actually help us build power? How does this conglomerate of people coming together, this group of people coming together, how does that allow us and help us build power? And if you want to go ahead and drop it in the chat or go ahead and come off of mute. Let me look at the chat. Let's see what we got.
And I think it builds confidence within parents and our kids, for them to not feel like they can't do something, because not only they're learning, but we're trying to learn too, or we're trying to help them. So that, I think that creates power, and yeah,
100%
leadership, you can say.
I love it. I love that, right? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This concept of strength in numbers, I think the Warriors took from FIA. So we might need to go ahead and holler at the Warriors, because this concept, strength in numbers, that's a FIA thing. You feel what I'm saying? And that is where the answer is. We generate the power, then we build the power through coming together. Stephisha said something pretty dope in the chat. Let me go ahead and read it real quick. She said, we are great alone, but better together. We move in force, we move in confidence, love, larger network to support. And obviously the concept of accountability goes into that. So awesome. Can we go ahead and move on over to the next one for me? Ooh, let me just go ahead and see what Daisy got real quick. Daisy said, should I read in Spanish or in English? I'm sorry. What'd be easier?
I think if you just do it in English and then Jordy will translate you.
Cool. She said, because together we have more power to
accomplish our goals, and our goal is to have better education for all our kids.
Absolutely. Shout out Erica for that. Appreciate you, girl. 100%. Thank you so much for that, Daisy. Awesome. So let me ask y'all this. Let me go ahead and ask y'all a question. Power is the ability to achieve purpose. What does that mean to you? Think about that. Allow that to kind of hit the brain, sizzle a little bit, internalize that. What does that mean? This concept of power is the ability to achieve purpose. And if I could have, I don't know if someone's looking at the chat to make sure we got folks there.
Not yet. I'm watching it.
All right. Go ahead and think about that, folks. Power is the ability to achieve purpose. What does that mean to you guys?
You may have to call on some parents, Danilo.
Yeah, I think I might have to do that. You know, like I said, I'm going to put on my teacher hat because this is where I thrive. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Let's see. Don't look away. Yeah, you already know. You know the kids. What'd you say, Mr. Warriors? I'm like, no, I'm talking to you. I would love to maybe hear from, let's see, maybe Jocelyn over at LWL, Josefina from Ascend.
And then you got a parent, Javier, telling you together you are able to generate strength, power. So that's what it means that to him.
I love that. Together we're able to generate, what do you say, power and what else, Erica?
Fuerza, so power, strength, yeah.
I love that. I love
Español sería la unión hace la fuerza.
La unión.
That's the second part, though.
The
He got
second part, yeah.
So he said that
Yeah.
unity creates strength.
100%. So with that being said, you know, to what Javier was saying is that, like, because of this concept of being able to achieve our purpose, we can't achieve our purpose, guys, without there being a goal within this institute, right? Because if we don't start creating these PLTs at this school, then we just came here for, you know, for a good time and just to chat and talk. So we have to go ahead and put some action behind this talk. And as we used to say when I was growing up, you got to be about that action. You can't just be sitting there talking. You guys get what I'm saying? So this is where it's important. And this is where we actually call you to action and make sure that there is something tangible that you have in your mind that you're going to go ahead and achieve. And that's why even in the breakout rooms, we're asking, hey, what are your goals? What are you promising? What are you going to commit yourself to do? So awesome. And I think that's my piece on that, Erica.
Yeah. And so now that we talked about power, right? And everybody, you know, I need thumbs up, because who has power in the room tonight on the Zoom call? If you go ahead, put thumbs up or put in the chat box, but I didn't see hands, thumbs, hearts. Who has power? We all have power, right? And so tonight it's time to use the power that we've developed, and we want to reach our shared goal. And so we have EFC's literacy call to action. And the first, and every week, every session we met, we talked about a different part of this call of action. We started with our own story of literacy. What was our challenge? Then we discussed the story of us, right? We made it about us. And then what's the challenge that we're all, you know, trying to work? And then the story of now, which is what's going on at our schools right now. What's the reality for EFC? And then we're doing an invitation and ask. And that invitation or an ask that we're going to do tonight is our call of action, right? So we're combining all those three pieces, and it's going to give us a call of action. And who thinks we can do that? Who thinks that we are capable of channeling that power and having action? Come off mute and say woot woot if you think we have the power to call an action.
Woo, woo.
Whoa, whoa.
Woo,
I don't know. It sounds like only 5 of us got power.
woo, woo, woo,
Put your power coats on. Friend.
There we
Woo,
go.
woo.
Okay, they're coming in. They're coming in. So yes, we all have that power. And like we said, we are all EFC. And now, you know, the best way to explain a call of action is to see one in action, right? To hear it with our own ears. And now I'm going to invite our incredible, you know, we're keeping it in the family today. We did Roberto from Learning Without Limits. And now I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic over to our parent leader, Marlene Garcia from Learning Without Limits. Marlene, you ready?
Ok. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Marlene García, licenciada en Educación Especial. Soy una madre líder en Learning Without Limits. Tengo 2 hijos, Oliver en el 1er grado y Ángel en el 4º grado. Cuando pienso en mi educación en México, recuerdo que yo siempre tuve el apoyo de mis padres económicamente y emocionalmente. Mi madre siempre estuvo presente, animándome, que me supere y que siguiera luchando y terminara mi educación. El valor que yo he identificado en Learning Without Limits es el compromiso de hogar y escuela. Este es un cambio que fue el resultado del primer instituto de lectura del año pasado. Veo que Miss Fox está dispuesta a hablar sobre la estadística, las calificaciones de nuestros hijos y estar en comunicación siempre y dispuesta. El reto más grande para mis hijos ha sido el idioma. En casa solo hablamos español, así que cuando comenzaron la escuela es cuando aprendieron el inglés. Durante la pandemia, yo pude ver a través de Zoom cómo era el aprendizaje de mi hijo, de Ángel. Aprendí cómo él y cómo lo podía yo ayudar, y ahora él está leyendo a su nivel de grado. Aunque está leyendo a un nivel de grado, yo no me puedo conformar, así como mis padres hicieron conmigo. Yo tengo que apoyar a mis hijos y tengo que asegurarme que su educación es constante y que siempre se sientan retados a mejorar. En casa siempre practicamos la fluidez y las palabras que leemos por minuto. La herramienta más importante que aprendí del instituto es cómo leer las calificaciones. Antes yo me basaba en los colores, yo nunca preguntaba el por qué ni el cómo. Ahora yo sé que es mi derecho como madre hacer preguntas y las debo de hacer. Yo tengo esa agencia de siempre abogar por mis hijos y por los niños y su educación. Muchas veces los padres no sabemos qué preguntar o cómo podemos apoyar a nuestros hijos en casa. Nosotros no podemos esperar a que pasen más generaciones para que la educación mejore. Tenemos que estar en comunicación con nuestras escuelas y asegurarnos que los estudiantes sí están recibiendo una educación de alta calidad y que sí se les esté creando una fundación académica que garantice una buena transición cuando nuestros hijos entren a la middle school. No debemos enterarnos que en realidad no están listos cuando ya están pasando por un problema en la middle school. Yo los invito a todos a que logremos que el 90% de los estudiantes de EFC estén a nivel de grado. Todos tenemos que asistir a la sesión 5 en persona en nuestra escuela. La proficiencia de la lectura se puede lograr a través de involucrarnos más en la educación de nuestros hijos y en la escuela. Si formamos un grupo de padres líderes, va a ser un apoyo no solo para nuestros maestros, sino que también para los estudiantes. En Learning with Alignment, hoy nos reunimos con nuestro coordinador Francisco y queremos reunirnos una vez al mes. Tener esa opción de reunirnos en las mañanas y en las tardes. Tenemos que buscar estrategias para crear un buen equipo. Yo le dije que estoy disponible para apoyar a nuestro coordinador y encabezar el grupo de padres líderes. Que no haga pretextos del tiempo, porque padres trabajan, no pueden estar a la mañana o la tarde, o hacer 2 grupos y así atraer más padres y que se comprometan a estar con nosotros. Así que ahora les quiero pedir a todos que salgan del mudo y que si están de acuerdo digan un o que pongan en la cajita que tenemos bien puesto el abrigo de poder. Gracias.
Who agrees with Marlene? We need to see those woo woos.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Gracias.
Man, all right. So that is our call of action. Who knows, real quickly, I want to make sure that our parents are paying attention. Who knows what Marlene is asking our parents to do tonight? And if you know what she's asking, go ahead and put it in the chat or come off mute. What did Marlene just ask us to do?
No,
She did.
antes de eso, antes de woohoo.
To start your PLT, attend session 5 in person. We want to build that parent lead team. Yes, and all of y'all said woo woo, so that means everyone's about to have a parent lead team at their school.
Woohoo!
Awesome. And so, okay, I was just checking. I'm glad to see that y'all are paying attention. So we're gonna go ahead now and go into our breakout groups and figure out, what our calls of action are. And if Velia, if you can go ahead and put us into those breakout groups. Everyone, we have 15 minutes in there. Make the most of it, and then we'll see you back in a little bit. Welcome everybody back on. So my group did not get a chance to share the first time, and then so I'm gonna have Elida go ahead and share for our families from Lazier and Ascend in Spanish.
Hola, buenas tardes, buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Elida Medina y soy mamá de Liam Burgos, que está en segundo grado. Y bueno, hoy lo que nosotros compartimos en el grupo fue de cuál sería como ese llamado a la acción. Y algunas de las mamás estaban mencionando que sería como, pues, tener más comunicación con los maestros, ¿verdad? Y también como hablar con otros papás para así que tengan, se unan, ¿no? Como al grupo y así seguir ayudando como a nuestros niños y a las escuelas, ¿no? Yo también estaba compartiendo con ellas que mi llamado a la acción sería pues lo primero es como asistir a la reunión número 5, que va a ser presencial. Y lo segundo decía que hacer una cita pues con Rocío, ¿no? La coordinadora de la CIE, para que ella me ayude más en qué es lo que puedo hacer y cómo puedo involucrarme más en la escuela para ayudar. Al igual que las otras mamás, creemos que eso es uno de los primeros pasos, pues, para seguir nosotros aprendiendo y ayudando a nuestros niños y ayudando a que más papás se unan, ¿no? Y también puedan ellos pues ayudar a sus niños y ayudar a nuestras escuelas, ¿no? Ah, Creo que es todo. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Elida, por compartir. Ahora la escuela ¿De dónde es usted, Elida? ¿Learning Without Limits?
De la CIE.
La CIER, ok. ¿Qué otra escuela falta por compartir, Erika? Sorry, me perdí.
All right. Did I miss somebody else's group? Did I miss somebody else's group? Because now we actually, I think we might have been one group short actually, tonight.
You didn't
So,
miss us, Erica, but if there's an extra 60
yes,
seconds, we
go
have
for it.
super awesome ideas. And no, I'm volleyballing it over to Nelly. Nelly, where you at? Please share some of the ideas we had about how to effectively get this rocking at Cox.
Yes, so our group at Cox thought of a family literacy night at Cox, sharing our stories with other parents. There was a lot of ideas, but the main one that we agreed on was a family literacy night.
Nice. I know that's coming up, and then some people got it on their calendars. So, if y'all are gonna get people to come out, turn out for that event. That's the best event to get start that PLT. We still have time. Anybody else's group? Isabel and Danilo.
Yeah, can we get
Or-
Diana? Come on. Diana, ¿puede compartir?
Sí, claro.
Por favor? Gracias.
Somos de la escuela de Achieve y la señora Guille, no recuerdo de dónde era.
De Cox.
Ok, pues en nuestro grupo se puso de acuerdo para poder asistir a la siguiente reunión, que es muy importante y pienso que es nuestro primer, ¿cómo era eso?
Llamado a la acción.
Llamado a la acción, perdón, gracias. Nuestro primer llamado de acción y el siguiente paso para nosotros sería relacionarnos con los demás padres de familia para poder convocarlos y formar un grupo de apoyo para ellos y con lo aprendido. En estas sesiones poder compartir nuestros conocimientos y hacer crecer a nuestras escuelas. Es decir, apoyando a nuestros niños con lo aprendido acá.
Thank you for sharing, Diana. Gracias por compartir, Erika. Sigues.
Awesome. And I love hearing this. And now this is our last Zoom session together. I'm a little sad because this is the last time we're going to be together on this call. So this is your last chance. Do we have another parent that wants to share? Because otherwise you're only going to be sharing with your own school site for your session 5. Anybody else feels called? The mic is yours.
Erika, we have a question. Did you guys have already a date to meet for the session 5, or as coordinators, we have to make that day regarding family's schedule?
Yeah, so we actually we're gonna take a second at the end to talk a little bit about session 5.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, and yeah, so sad this is the end. That me too, Stafisha. And I'm gonna go ahead though, because while this is the end of the Zoom sessions, we still got a lot of work to do and there's still homework. So let's see what's coming up. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to our other parent, Vivica.
All right, this week's homework. We always got some homework, y'all. But before I get into that, can we get a shout out for the amazing facilitation that was done today? All the leaders that facilitated, all the parent leaders that stepped in and put their power coats on, as well as the amazing admin experience that we had with Mr. Roberto. I think that was amazing. So I'm gonna call us out after I'm gonna count down from 3 and we're gonna come off mute, right? Well, you should just come off mute now so you don't be off the count, okay? So 3, 2, 1. And that's what I'm talking about. Great job. That's right. I love when you guys give the energy. So, of course, you guys, we're doing our homework is going to be continue your routine for home reading, right? And one thing I also reiterated to my breakout group, right, that some of you guys, I wouldn't say forgot, but make sure we're doing in order to get your fellowship, right? Make sure we're filling this out, you guys. This is your tracker you should be taking a picture of and sending to your coordinator, right? So this is also a part of your homework. It is in section 1 at the back. And it is titled Leadership Activities Tracker, and it's required, right? So let's make sure we get all of our homework done. It's in every binder. You should be filling this out with your name and what you've already done. It's 2 pages, okay? So let's make sure we're doing that. And let's making sure we're doing our book walks, our book talks, that 30 minutes of reading every day, right? And practicing the timed reading fluency. We did that in the last session, right? Where you're sitting with your child and you're timing them for a minute and counting how many words they're reading, but also listen for them to making sure that they're saying the word correctly and making sure that they're saying the right word, okay? And then again, our stories of self, we should be sharing our story of self, us, and now with their call to action with at least 2 other people. I've seen a lot of us saying, yeah, we're going to get together our PLTs and we're going to reach out to other parents. Well, the best way to reach out to them and show them what you've learned is give them that piece of you, that story of self. You learned how to show how to create a story of self that's going to really inspire everyone in literacy, right? And then, of course, we have the session 5 information they're going to be going over with you guys shortly. And we got the evaluation. If somebody can put that up in the chat for me, make sure we're getting this evaluation done. And that's it. And that reading chart, you guys, you should see. I mean, I've gotten pictures where they got reading charts with stickers all over, right? That's how it should look. And we should be engaging our children in that reading chart. Let them be a part of putting a sticker on that shows that they did the work with you, okay? Those are just some suggestions a little bit to add to the actual experience, right? So thank you so much, Danilo. He put the evaluation in the chat. Want to make sure we're getting that done before we head out. I know that there is more information that they're going to be giving you, and they're going to be giving us for session 5. Is that all we got, Erica, or we got a little bit more?
So yeah, so for our session 5, since it's school-based, every school is going to host it for their 10 families, their 10 parent leaders. And at this moment, Cox Academy already put theirs on the calendar for November 9th at 9 a.m. at the school. So if you are a Cobra, you got to be at your school November 9th at 9 a.m. Now, for the rest of our schools, my coordinators, you're going to have to work with your lead team and figure out that date that's going to work with your families and invite them to come to the school. All right. So that is school choice. So you can that's a decision that you're going to, a date you're going to set, and Fia's going to help you send out the reminders. You're going to send out the reminders. And Fia, we're going to be sending out just another reminder internally to our coordinators. So coordinators, it's going to be on you to make sure that you pass the information to your families. Okay. Cox Academy, November 9th, the rest of our families, let's get those dates. And if you don't hear from your coordinator, you got to call them, right? Because there's power in numbers. So if we can hold our coordinators accountable too for getting those dates on the calendar, because we're all so busy, but let's make it happen. Now with let me see. We got to reinforce those learnings, definitely. And so just make sure that we do the evaluation. Last week, we only had, I think, around like 5 people fill out the evaluation, and we really, really, really need those to be filled out. We really want you to learn, we want you to grow, and we want to give this opportunity to more families. So please, Danilo, if you can drop that link one more time for our families. We need them all to fill it out, please. We want to know your evaluation. For now, we're not going to meet anymore on Zoom. That's, just reminding you, you are going to wait. If you are Achieve, Ascend, LaSere, and Learning Without Limits, you're going to wait to get the date for your session 5, okay? We also have our data where we're going to be talking about data at school, and it'll be a data town hall. That date is also to be determined by your school. So just hang tight and your school is going to get that info to you. Just like Vivica said, thank you to all of our parents that have shared their stories, our parents that have participated, to Jordy, our interpreter, our coordinators, because they showed up and they're so motivated to do this work with you, and they believe in you, that you're all leaders. Thank you so much to all of our coordinators. Am I missing anything right now? And then we have 4 responses.
Can I jump in real quick, Erica, while we're all doing the evaluation? I just wanted to come off mute and ask everybody if we can get a final Thea woo woo for Erica, the amazing Erica Valdez that is going to be moving forward in her career and stepping away from Thea. And we appreciate you, Erica, and what you've done. I just wanted to say it right here so that everybody can give you your flowers while you're here. So can everybody, please come off mute and say thank you, give Erica a woo woo, and she has impacted you for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing, Erica. We couldn't have this without you. Trust me.
I don't care what nobody say about you, Erica. You all right with me, girl.
Thank y'all. And now I'm gonna love everybody so much more if we get those evaluations filled out.
Okay.
Like woo woo. Let's end tonight with a bang. I only have 4 evaluations.
Come on, y'all. 100%. Let's go.
One of those 40 was mine.
Oh my goodness.
So that
No,
means
then
you
we got
haven't done it.
Sorry, where are we sending the evaluations?
Yeah, we're putting it in the chat. Just click on the evaluation in that Danilo put in the chat box, and then you fill it out, and then you just press submit. And
Okay.
And the evaluation
questions.
And the evaluation is in Spanish and English. Just click on the link, please. It's in Spanish and English.
I want to ask, ¿quién es la persona del iPhone 12? Si nos puede decir su nombre para tomar asistencia. Who's behind the iPhone 12? We need to take your attendance.
Rena.
Rena. Which school?
Cox.
Cox. Beautiful. Thank you, Rena.
Awesome. Thank you. And then let me see, where are we at now? We have 6, y'all. Come on. We have over 30 parents on this call.
37.
Come on. That means we need 31 more responses, please. And if you didn't like the Institute, tell me, tell us so we can change it. Please fill out that survey. We are at 6 responses. Please fill it out. If you're not seeing it or you can't maneuver it because you're on Zoom on your cell phone, can you put it in the chat? And that way we can have your coordinator send it to you via text message or email. If you're struggling because of that, let us know. We really want to see your responses. And I don't want to take up your time. Please, everybody, fill out that evaluation. We really need it to be filled out.
It is 8 p.m.
It is 8 p.m. All right, and so
excuse me. Hi, I'm Rena. I I can't get to it. So can you
Send it via text. Yeah, we can
yeah.
figure out, Rena, if Susan has your phone number and she can like text it over to you.
I can
Okay,
text it to you, Rena. I got you.
Perfect.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, see what Rena did? She just let us know who else is in Rena's boat. We can send it to you. All right. And so
Sorry. Oh, so sorry, Eric. It was me. Sorry. I just wanted to say thank you. Maybe some folks needed some inspiration of what to put on that form. And I just kind of want to bring it to the space. This was a very, very unique space we were all a part of. It was a time where we came together, like we had assistant principals in the space. We had here, we had teachers, we had all roles in here, and we were all as one. The power was just removed and it was shared equally across the room. And so maybe think about those things, right? Like as you're doing your survey, if you loved hearing from principals, if you loved hearing from the teacher's teacher, because I know when Jasmine came in here, that was the teacher's coach. So if you love hearing from those people, put that on there. We love hearing from X person, Y person. Let us know what you love the most. Let us know what we could have done better, but definitely let us know because we want more people to continue to enjoy this. Erica, just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for hosting the space. It was just powerful. I don't think many of us are doing this. Thank you.